Active FM. Radio has never been better.
What is up?
What is happening?
This is the movie show.
On your favorite ORSPS. I feel like we should be the intro. They should cut that whole intro thing out, eh? Can we do that?
So you're just
Can
like...
we just cut out the intro?
We're
We'll
cutting
be
out
the
our
intro
intro.
from now on. Just put a cool track in the background. We'll give you the track. Don't talk. All right, there you go. Okay.
All right.
Let's start that again.
Right.
You have to do in your epic voice, though.
What?
Sash.
I don't have an epic voice.
You got an epic voice. Let's go. 3, 2, 1.
You go first.
Oh,
It's
sorry.
your idea.
Okay. On my mark.
3.
This is the movie show.
That's FM.
Your favorite ORSP. You know when they do that stereo effect? It sounds cool. Your favorite ORSPS. This is radio. Radio has never been better. With your co-host, Ryan.
Your co-host and your host, Sash.
With your hosts.
Sash and Ryan. Ryan and Sash.
Right.
S&R.
So as I said before this, let's kill the show in half an hour. Let's
Let's
go.
kill it. So, James Bond, number 5. Death is very hard to schedule for all of those who have watched the film.
Yes.
Apparently it's not.
Yep.
Okay, right up front, we are definitely spoiler alerting because we will be spoiling.
Yeah, we
Sorry
don't care.
to every single person who has not watched this film. We apologize.
Like our guy busy recording right now. And our video recorder.
Sorry.
Sorry. But it was a great movie.
Great. So, I actually watched, I've mentioned this before on the show, I watched all 5. So, I wanted to watch No Time to Die. But then I was like, the only James Bond film I remember watching was Skyfall, which was the 3rd in the Daniel Craig franchise. So, I was like, I don't want to watch it and be like, I don't get what's happening. Right? So, I was like, okay, you know what? It's 5 films, including No Time to Die, so I'm just going to do a marathon. Did the marathon and realized I hadn't watched any other James Bond of the Daniel Craig. I'd only watched Skyfall, so I was really glad that, I watched all of them because, yeah.
I will admit, I think I watched, something Royale?
Casino Royale. That was like the first.
Yeah, but more like just the visual watching, not really following along with the story as I usually do. So when I watched this one, I don't know who the heck anybody was. I knew who he was. And when he said M, I remembered M just purely because we spoke about him on our show before.
Yeah.
And I agree. We said that someone would be great as M. Who was it?
Tom Hanks. Not Tom... Tom Hanks. Tom Hardy.
Yes, he would be great as M. And I agree.
What was him,
I'm
right?
going back to that. I'm saying yes. Definitely.
Definitely Tom
Just
Hardy.
insert me there. But other than that, I didn't know what was going on. I sort of understood, but I didn't really. I was like, I just had to ignore certain parts. And
So as a person who didn't know what was going on, how did you find the film?
As an action film junkie, that was a really awesome film. I enjoyed it. Like, I loved it. Like, I really, really, it was so cool. Like, the way things played out, the way people got shot, and even the way that the near death, and it wasn't, might not have been too far-fetched. There were some parts that were a little bit too far-fetched.
I feel like in this film, they weren't as far-fetched as previous James Bond films. Like,
Really, eh?
So my favorite of out of the 5 was, I really enjoyed Skyfall. Like, Skyfall, I actually really enjoyed. And watching the 5, I really enjoyed Skyfall. Like, watching, even though I'd watched Skyfall, I was like, this one is brilliant. And then my next favorite, not as in second, as in the 2 top are Skyfall and No Time to Die. So, like, I really enjoy out of and for me, it was a good way to go out. It was like a good ending because this is the last for Daniel Craig in his James Bond franchise. But Spectre's opening sequence was insane. I think Spectre's opening sequence was the best James Bond opening sequence for Daniel Craig's franchise. It was insane. He literally there was a fight scene in a helicopter. As in a small helicopter. And they were like flying out and coming back. That was insane.
The pilot obviously died, right?
No, it wasn't with the pilot. It was Daniel Craig fighting a guy. The pilot wasn't involved in the fight.
But okay, so you were still flying the helicopter and trying to
trying to
what's going on?
Yeah,
because usually there's like gunshots that go off and you get killed.
No, a fight, not guns, a fight.
So like
Yeah. Spectre's opening sequence was insane. So it was really cool. I think that one, go from a far-fetched perspective, that for me would have been more far-fetched than what happened
The
in
helicopter
this film.
fight.
Yeah.
Oh,
You haven't seen it though.
sounds possible.
Yeah, but you haven't seen it though.
Okay, true.
Like, it was a good 20-minute sequence.
Well, that's usually what happens when you get into a fight, yeah. Good 20 minutes with nobody able to stop.
Next time on the movie show, Ryan in a fight with... For a whole good 20 minutes, people,
Round
you
one.
will watch Ryan getting beaten. Yeah.
But I mean, since Daniel Craig was acting, was there any... So if you watched from the first James Bond that he did, were there any old characters or things you had to understand from the previous films?
The way they tied up the franchise, even the first film, was brilliant. So they brought back characters from the first film. Obviously, he goes to Vesper's grave. Vesper was the first woman he actually fell in love with in the first film. She dies in the first film. So the way they tied it was brilliant, but also the way they tied it with other films. So like Spectre, the villain, came back and you saw him. That just the way they tied like all of the films together, it was from a franchise perspective, it was really good. I really thought, and I must be honest, this is so against popular belief. So James Bond dies. I know the title kind of tells you that he doesn't have the time to, but he kind of finds the time, at the end of the film, has a relook at his diary and then goes, oh wait, I have a slot over there. Okay, cool. And then he picks that slot, and he dies. At the end of the film.
Did all the other James Bonds die?
I don't think any of the other James Bonds...
So this wasn't like a reboot, it was like a continuation. 007.
No. With the new franchise, it's always a new franchise. It's like a new...
So it's just fresh reboot.
Yeah, it's fresh. So Daniel Craig's franchise is now complete as far as I understand. But I know he could have not died, but I feel like, why would he want to go on living if... Like, I just feel like they ended it well. I was satisfied. And I know he died. I know that. And I know that me saying that I'm glad that he died sounds really sad. But I'm not glad that he died. Like, it was very sad. It was very emotional. But the way it ended, I was just like, that is a good way to end a franchise. Like, I don't know if you remember last week we were talking about Pirates. And
yeah.
I wanted to say but didn't because Ryan hadn't yet watched No Time to Die. Like, for me, if they want to get rid of Johnny Depp in Pirates, they've got to do what they did with No Time to Die. They've got to kill him off on screen and in the... Do you get what I'm saying? It's... Yeah.
I have to disagree. I didn't think he had to die. I wouldn't have died.
So you would have just gone on and lived...
Yes.
Without your wife,
No.
basically, and your daughter.
We would have made an arrangement,
You would kill them.
No.
At any point.
He can't make contact with him. It's that
So
thing.
you would have lived in a glass house.
No. I just there would have been a distance. That's all. We would have kept distance and we would have made an arrangement. But I thought there'd be mutual understanding here. Clearly, I'm the only idiot. Anyway, comment below.
Normally, I feel like we are in reversed roles.
Whoever agrees with me, because now he's like dead and he never gets to see his daughter grow up.
But he could kill his daughter. He could stop his... Imagine
He doesn't.
Anything could happen. Like, anything could go wrong. And then imagine he killed his daughter and the one woman that he loves. Like then what?
Phone calls, or you stay there, I stay here. Or,
So it's a long-distance relationship for the rest of your life.
well, at least I get to see you grow up and I get to have... You can still have the friendship... You could work things out, Now the father's gone. You're not going to see her grow up. Anyway, that's the way I feel. So, great movie,
yes.
great action
Comments,
effects.
let us know what you thought. Like,
Comment
should
below.
he have died? Can I be honest? From a friend, I'm thinking franchise here, right? Franchise perspective. I think it was a good thing that he died. I'm not... So maybe storyline, yeah, they probably could. I mean, it is so, they work miracles all the time. So I suppose they could have, like, figured out how to cure him or whatever.
Well, I guess it would have sucked to die another way.
He wouldn't have died.
Wasn't there James Bond die
that's
another
the
day?
Catch. This is the catch with it, is he didn't die because he ran out of time.
No.
So I suppose that's
No.
where the name comes back. Like, it's not that he ran out of time. In fact, he even said to Madeline in the beginning, we have all the time in the world. He chose to die.
Yeah.
He was like, you know what? I would rather not live than live without Madeline and my daughter. I'd rather I would rather die than live without them. Like for me, living without them actually isn't living, which is kind of what we saw in the beginning of the film, because at the end of Spectre, the two of them, or was it the beginning of this one? When did they separate? End of Spectre or beginning of this one?
They separate in the beginning.
Okay.
Because the beginning of this film,
Yes.
that they were together.
They were together. So they separate. Oh, yes. They separate. And then he obviously goes to Jamaica. Which bit of trivia, do you know that the writer of James Bond actually wrote it in Jamaica? As in the original, you know, the original guy. What was his name? Ian Fleming or something. He wrote James Bond in Jamaica. So that was like a cool nod to like the origins of the character. But like in Jamaica, he was just like there. Do you get it? Like he didn't have a life. He was just a lonely dude in a nice house, keeping himself busy. Do you get what I'm saying?
With fishing.
Like that's the extent, that's the quality that his life would be if he chose to live at the end of the film. That's the equivalent. That's as good as he would have gotten. Do you get what I'm saying? The fact that he couldn't live without Madeline and his daughter would have sucked. So that's why I was like, you know what? I know my mom and sister would completely shoot me right now if they heard me saying this, because they hated it. They were like, that movie sucked because he died. So I know I'm speaking against popular opinion. After watching the full franchise, maybe if you watched the full franchise, Ryan, you would have felt different. Maybe. Maybe not.
I guess I'd have to watch the full franchise.
Yeah. I just thought it was a good way for them to end it.
What is the first James Bond with him in it?
Casino Royale.
Oh.
So that was the first one. Then
How many has he been in?
5. So it was Casino Royale, then Quantum of Solace, then it was Skyfall, Spectre, and then No Time to Die.
I feel like I want to watch Spectre. I don't know why that one just...
Spectre was cool. It wasn't... So interestingly enough, this is cool though. I actually respect them for doing this, because like if you look at Pirates of the Caribbean, which is what we said last week, the first 3, I don't know about you, Ryan, but for me the first 3 were good. The 4th and the 5th one kind of felt like they were trying to, you know, keep up the glory days of old, but they, yeah. For me, with James Bond, if I had to rate them, for me, Skyfall, Spectre, and No Time to Die are the best, with Quantum of Solace and Casino Royale as at the bottom. So that means I preferred the 3rd, 4th, and 5th film the most. The 1st and 2nd I did enjoy, but they weren't my favorite, which for me is pretty cool, because generally we found it's very hard to improve on a first film. So like do you get what I'm saying? Like to have the sequel as good as the first film can be difficult to do. A lot of people flop with that.
Yeah.
But then also now to make sure that the 3rd is better than the 2nd, and you get like, yeah. So I do respect them for that. Yeah. How did you find him as a James Bond? Because he is different to the others.
Really?
So he's got more of like a...
Aren't the other ones that more like all suited and
but
sort
also,
of smooth?
Yes. I feel like they... Okay, this is how I view it.
Him, I felt like he could like really kill some people.
There was character depth with him, which I felt like in previous James Bonds, he was kind of like just this dude that was always like a womanizer. He could get out of any situation, and he was just like cool. Whereas with Daniel Craig's one, I feel like he did something for the James. He humanized the character in a way, which some people won't like because they'll call it weak. I do get that. But in my opinion, I did enjoy it because I feel like he was more human.
I think it's difficult for me to comment on because I haven't really paid attention to the other James Bonds at all. But I've always known James Bond as this sort of smooth, everything goes well, and he always slips out, and everything is like smooth going. And just before you think you got me, I slip out something else, and then you did. But with this one, I felt like this guy was like a real like action. That's why I was saying, like, for me as an action film junkie, this was such a cool film.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it to be like this at all. There was a lot of risk. And there was a lot of flipping of cars, and usually the other thing is like with his car, he's got all the gadgets and stuff like that. Like I was expecting that sort of thing. got him, but no, his car's bulletproof. Haha, we can't get you.
But how cool was that scene
Where he kept
they're all
shooting.
shooting at the and the car is bulletproof, but obviously not 100%. Like if
keep
you
going at one spot.
That whole scene that was insane.
Yeah.
And then how he gets out of that spot is the guns come out of the car and then
see?
he does a donut and drives away.
Yeah.
Do you know that he actually performed that stunt?
The donut.
He apparently would be there like early, like practicing the donut. So that donut.
Ah.
Daniel Craig actually did that. But I must be honest, I really do respect Daniel Craig as an actor because do you know for most of Spectre's filming, so Spectre is the fourth film, for most of that filming, what's it called, program, session, shoot, for most of the shoot, he filmed with a broken leg. So Daniel Craig is known to perform most of his stunts, but what happened was obviously as he's been getting older, stunts do take more of a toll on your body, and he ended up breaking his leg and he ended up having to film with a broken leg for a lot of Spectre. How insane is that?
How do you do that?
I don't know.
Like, where did he actually break his leg?
I don't know the exact details.
That's
but
crazy.
The reason, so after Spectre, there was actually an interview with him in October 2015, and the reports, they reported him actually saying that they asked him, can you imagine doing another Bond movie? And he said, I'd rather break this glass and slash my wrists. No, not at the moment, not at all. That's fine. I'm over it at the moment. We're done. All I want to do is move on. And you want to move on from Bond for good, the interviewer asked. He then said, I haven't given it any thought for at least a year or two. I just don't want to think about it. I don't know what the next step is. I have no idea. And at the moment we've done it. I'm not in the discussion with anyone about anything. If I did another Bond movie, it would only be for the money. And then they said, do you care who plays James Bond after you? And he said, nope, not at all. Good luck to them. All I care about is that I stop doing these things we've left in a good place and people pick it up and make it better. That's all. So that's what he said after Spectre. But obviously he had a change of mind, after his
And he
leg
did do
healed.
another one.
But then shame, he then also really badly damaged his ankle during filming of No Time to Die, and that actually caused a lot of delays. Do you know that this film was pushed back a lot? Like there were a lot of delays, which caused people to worry. But personally, I didn't feel the delays, and also the script changed like 4 times during production.
The script was good.
The script was good.
I enjoyed the storyline. Everything was just like everything was. I was sort of expecting like you probably know his name, the bad guy, the villain.
I love him,
that
Rami
guy.
Malek.
I wasn't expecting him. When I saw him, I'm like, wait, it's that dude.
I honestly, I love him as an actor. And do you know how different he is in real life?
Yeah,
I was watching an
that's what I
interview
was
with
thinking.
Jimmy Kimmel. He is like a big teddy bear. Like he's smiling and laughing. He even reportedly told Kate Middleton, because the royals went to the premiere, he was like, he could see that Kate Middleton wasn't doing okay, that, like she was putting on this front, obviously as the royals do, and she was really gracious about it, but he could see that like she wasn't okay. And he even said to, if there's ever a time you need to just like get out or whatever, I'd be happy to babysit. Jimmy Kimmel then joked and said, I don't think they'll want you to babysit after watching No Time to Die. But like he's so different to how he is like in this film and in like every film. Like he did a really good job with the villain. He really did do a good job with the villain.
Yeah. I've watched other films of his, and yes, nothing, absolutely nothing. That's what I was saying. I was shocked when I saw him as like the ultimate bad guy. I was just like, what? No way.
So you didn't know he was the bad guy?
No, not at all.
I did. I think was also one of the reasons I wanted to watch the film.
I mean, I'm looking at the other films that he plays in. That's how I was completely shocked with.
Like, what?
Yeah, the part that I played. He was in The Mummy as well, hey?
Yes.
Yes, that's right.
No, not The Mummy. He was in Night at the Museum.
That's the one. And I mean, even in there, he wasn't quite a serious character.
No, he wasn't serious at all.
The last scene with him and James Bond, his acting was like to a whole other level.
Yeah.
This guy's American with his accent and all.
He did do a good job.
I think I've got a new respect for this guy.
I honestly love his acting. Like I
felt his weirdness, eh?
Yes.
It was so good. Like I said, that last scene, and what I loved about James Bond is they didn't have this like then long battle on and like almost death, to death fight. It was just dead, type of thing.
He was the one.
He kind of
villain.
wounded him for the last time.
He was the one villain that actually did get to James Bond. Like the others, they didn't really. Like
No.
they tried and they almost did.
And the way he just
didn't.
let the girl go. Like, there's those moments you're just like, what? I think that's what I enjoyed about this film. There was a lot of
unexpected
stuff.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, okay. But
you know what else surprised
Sure.
me was so Anna de Armas. She was in the film. She played that Latino agent that helped him when at the Spectre party. And I honestly expected her to be in the film a lot more. Like I thought she was like. I thought she was the equivalent of one of James Bond's girls. Like, do you get what I'm saying? But she wasn't. She was like,
No,
in
she
for
got to a point.
portion, and then she was out.
Yeah.
And I was still like,
my journey ends here. Bye bye. And it's like, I'm just like, oh, is that how it works? You just.
but I suppose I feel like what they did with this film
It
was
makes sense.
they like kept it going. Like you didn't get stuck in
No.
they kept it going. And also he had Madeline and he loved Madeline, and like you saw the effect Madeline had on him. So it made like I would have been upset actually if he was with her and then he was like, I would have been like,
Yeah.
seriously, like you could actually see how hurt he really was over Madeline. So
Agreed.
that was really cool. The acting was, I really enjoyed
That
the
is
acting.
brilliant.
So one of the most known stunts in this film is obviously the motorbike sequence where the motorbike ramps up and then does like flip in there and lands, which that actually was real. They didn't do CG with that. They actually got a motorbike like dude to they just took the ramp out. So there was a ramp that they then just took out. But in Italy, so there were a lot of
So that was
vehicle
Italy.
chases. Yes, it was Italy.
Right.
And the production, this is crazy. I laughed when I found this out. So the streets were very difficult to do the car chases on because, especially when it rained, because then it was like ice. And obviously then it became dangerous for them to perform stunts, etc., etc. So this was their solution. The production team utilized about 8,400 gallons, or that is equivalent to 31 liters of Coca-Cola. They poured on the ancient streets in Italy, and it cost production about 60,000 euros, which is equal to 77,000 US dollars. Right? The reason is the Coke acts as a liquid adhesive. For example, it was used for the motorbike jump scene in order to make the ramp surface sticky so as to deter the bike from sliding. Reportedly, the production spilt the soft drink all over the streets for the bike and car chases, requiring a big cleanup job afterwards. Stunt coordinator Lee Morrison said, I've been spraying Coca-Cola on slippery surfaces for a very long time with the drink able to make things look very clean after it washes off. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you need to be stuck to things,
Just use Coke.
Coke.
I was actually going to ask, I wonder if that's like a old school stuntman's trick up your sleeve type of thing.
But that's crazy how much they spent on Coke.
Well, there you go.
So look, their budget was I think 250 million US dollars. So,
Yeah, so
they
that's
just took a good
just added on there.
77,000. I mean, imagine spending $77,000 on Coca-Cola.
I should have watched the rest of the credits. Probably somewhere there, Coca-Cola or something.
Coca-Cola.
Yeah. Proudly, maybe they would have sponsored for every 6-pack, 1 pack of
Coke.
Yeah.
So I was interested in box office because obviously there's so many James Bond films. Where did the Daniel Craig films fall with box office, and what was the best film? So the best film, or the film that did the best worldwide, right? Box office worldwide, was Skyfall, which was the third film. And honestly, I think that is my favorite out of all of them. That film made a lot. It made millions. It brought in millions. The second film was The Inspector, which I thought was quite interesting, and then No Time to Die. So in all of the different James Bond films, the top film is Skyfall, then Inspector, then No Time to Die. So this is third out of all James Bond films. Then Casino Royale, which was the first James Bond, and then Quantum of Solace, which is the second James Bond. I mean, second Daniel Craig, sorry.
I've seen parts of Quantum
Of Solace.
I recognize that whole desert building with the fire and all of that. But I haven't watched the full thing. Yeah.
So all of Daniel Craig's James Bond films are at the top in terms of worldwide box office.
Yeah, great.
Then the next one is Die Another Day. That came sixth. Die Another Day. Who was the James Bond in Die Another Day?
That guy. That guy
Pierce,
over there. I'll tell you
Morgan.
now. I've just clicked on it. His name is
Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan, yeah.
Yes, Pierce Brosnan. And then the next was The World Is Not Enough. Is that also Pierce
The
Brosnan?
one before that, yes.
All right. And then the next one is GoldenEye.
I remember GoldenEye.
Is that...
there you go.
Who was GoldenEye?
I think it's also 95, guys.
Wow.
Yes.
And then Tomorrow Never Dies, 97. Okay, I feel like
so
also
that sits between.
People just started spending more on
movies.
On movies, yeah. Because clearly that's what this is showing us. Yeah. But honestly, okay, I haven't really watched the other James Bond films, but I'm proud to have Daniel Craig as our current James Bond.
Are you talking about the older ones?
Yeah, like I haven't seen like a lot of them.
Die Another Day.
Yeah.
The World Is Not Enough.
But
Okay.
I really enjoyed, yeah. Another thing, this for me must be so nerve-wracking. So do you know that Prince Charles visited them on set?
Ah.
So on the 20th of June 2019, that's when they filmed it, 2019, he met with star Daniel Craig, as well as other cast members like Naomi Harris, Lashana Lynch. He also met with the special effects head and other studio heads and crew members. He was shown the two Aston Martin vehicles, the one with the traditional gunmetal grey DB5 and the 1985
Good old classic
5.3 litre Aston Martin. And he also was there. Sorry, that car was used for an earlier James Bond film. But also in 1986, Princess Diana also went on set and she met Timothy Dalton, who was playing James Bond at the time. So I think that must be like really like nerve-wracking for them as
to
actors,
come on and
for the royal
greet
family.
everyone and say what's up. Wow.
Yeah. So principal photography for this picture was 184 days. It ran between the 28th of April to the 25th of October 2019. And some second unit filming was done earlier in Norway during March 2019. And pickup shots were filmed at Pinewood Studios on Friday, 20th of December 2019.
When James Bond was, his like last fight sequence, when he was trying to make his way to open up the those missile...
the windows.
And it was like a one-shot type of... They must have taken a lot of time to rehearse and keep... Because, I mean, there was a lot of accurate stuff that he had to do, like the way that he fell, the way that he... It was incredible.
And James Bond films are long in nature. Like, I don't know, like not long as in like...
Nah, if it's short... Nah.
That's the thing. Like, a James Bond film needs... It's a
be
good
good
2-hour film,
Definitely.
minimum. So, like, it is a very technical... It's a big scale production.
Yeah.
But I thoroughly enjoyed it. And honestly, No Time to Die, I personally was not disappointed by it.
Nope.
I really enjoyed it. For me, No Time to Die, Skyfall, Spectre, and No Time to Die, I would watch again.
I am definitely going to watch the
Spectre.
first... in fact, Spectre. In fact, maybe if I go backwards, I'm still sort of following the story.
Yeah.
Just backwards.
Honestly, you could... Look, Casino Royale does like give like... Almost like his... So... He deals with stuff that happened in Casino Royale in No Time to Die.
Yeah.
So, like, it is good to watch it from that perspective. But the three films that really follow each other is from Skyfall through to No Time to Die. Like, those three, it's almost like one storyline that you're following. Whereas the first two, you kind of feel like you're just going on different missions in a way with him.
Okay, I get you.
Whereas from Skyfall through to through to No Time to Die, I really felt like this is one long story that they that's why it was really shocking that like at the end of Spectre they were like, no, like we're good, we've tied it up well, like
how did they tie it up? Just like okay, that's a mission
got with
complete,
Madeline.
well done, great stuff, awesome.
Look, they could have ended it by Spectre, but the fact that they then went on to make No Time to Die and the fact that they did it well, I'm impressed.
And
because sometimes they do it badly.
And I also got the impression that the villain in this film was like the villain of all villains type of thing. Because he still took out some other guy in the prison and...
Yes, he was the villain of 4.
Yeah.
He was like the villain of all villains. He was the head of Spectre.
And meanwhile, like, the guy can't even fight.
No, he was in prison from the... No, he was hectic, eh? In fact, he was the boy...
Wait, are you talking about the guy in prison?
Yes.
The guy with the
one that dies.
That is one eye.
He was the villain.
The villain of all
Christoph
villains.
Waltz was hectic.
Sure.
He was really...
Okay.
Yeah, no, he was really...
Cool. I definitely want to go see Spectre. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So next week, Spectre. No, I'm joking.
But I must be honest, I'm looking forward to the new James Bond franchise because I want to see what they're going to do with it. I hope they do something different, and I hope they don't disappoint us with who they choose.
And for our listener, we actually did a show on who could the next James Bond be. Mm-hmm. So you definitely want to go listen to that if you haven't.
Yes.
And let's see what your expectations are. Yeah. Comment below as usual. Should we tell them what we're doing next week?
Are we doing what we're doing next week?
Yes, definitely.
Next week,
we agreed on it.
We are doing... Oh, wait, I forgot. What did we agree on?
We are doing...
Chris Hemsworth.
No, the movie was...
Animated.
Yes, the animated film,
We
yes.
are doing an animated film.
Yes, I was going to say The Rock. We're going to do the film with The Rock in it. But
No film. We are not doing any film with The Rock in it.
We are doing...
Coco!
That's right. There you go.
So go watch it and then come back.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this has been the movie show.
On your favorite ORSPS. Active FM.
Peace.
Cheers.